Vinyl records, once considered relics of a bygone era, are now a booming trend among Gen Z. In fact, vinyl has become the best-selling physical music format again, and young people are a major reason why. Last year, vinyl sales in the US hit over $1.4 billion, the highest total in more than 40 years. But this isn't just about spinning music. For some young collectors, limited press vinyl is starting to feel like more than just a hobby. It's looking like a kind of investment. In this video, we'll explore why so many teens and 20-somethings are turning to vinyl, what emotional and economic factors are driving that shift, and why this moment might be about more than just retro nostalgia. The return of vinyl has been surprisingly steady. After nearly disappearing in the early 2000s, vinyl sales have now grown for more than 17 years in a row, and it's Gen Z leading the way. One global survey found that 76% of Gen Z vinyl fans buy records at least once a month, and 80% of them own a turntable. This is a generation raised on streaming. Music has always been a tap away, and yet they're choosing oversized analog discs. Why? Part of it is the experience. Young collectors describe putting on a record as a kind of ritual. It makes the act of listening feel more deliberate. There's something novel in dropping a needle on an album, that soft crackle before the music starts, the full attention you give the song because you can't just skip it with a click. A lot of Gen Z listeners say vinyl gives them welcome pause from their digital routines. In a world of infinite music, vinyl feels present and real. There's also the nostalgia factor, even if it's borrowed. Gen Z collectors weren't alive in the 1970s, but many say that vinyl helps them feel closer to a time that seems more romantic or grounded. During the pandemic, this accelerated. With more time at home, some people found old records in their parents' collections and felt drawn to the physical connection. A vinyl album feels like a piece of music history, and that's true whether it's a 1960s jazz pressing or the latest Taylor Swift release. And then there's the design. Vinyl looks and feels beautiful. The album covers are large, the liner notes are something you can hold, the records themselves come in splatter patterns, neon colors, clear pressings, or even picture discs. Some collectors mount them on the walls like posters or display them. On TikTok and Instagram, vinyl has become an aesthetic. It's part of how people express their taste. It's part of how they decorate. There's another layer here, and that's scarcity. Artists and record labels have leaned into the vinyl revival by releasing limited editions, colored vinyl, special box sets, retailer exclusives, signed copies. Sometimes only a few thousand copies are made and they sell out fast. This creates a new kind of collector economy. For some young fans, it feels like getting a rare asset. If you manage to get a copy and your friends didn't, then you own something special. That dynamic makes vinyl feel more like sneakers or Pokemon cards. Something to chase, something to show off, and sometimes something to sell. One industry report said Gen Z vinyl fans are increasingly willing to put real money into physical products to support their favorite artists. It's part loyalty and part belief that these records might go up in value. New vinyl isn't cheap. In 2025, the average price of a new record is around $37, up more than 20% from 5 years ago. Some of that rise is due to higher production costs, but a big part of it is that fans are willing to pay more for special editions. At the same time, the resale market is booming. Discogs, one of the biggest vinyl marketplaces online, saw sales increase by 51% between 2020 and 2023. Some of the most dramatic price jumps have happened with newer albums. For example, the translucent orange limited edition vinyl of Taylor Swift's 2017 album Reputation originally sold for about $20. Now it's been listed for more than $1,000 on eBay. Classic vinyl still sees strong returns too. Original pressings of iconic albums, rare misprints, or regional issues can go for hundreds or thousands of dollars. An early 45 RPM of Elvis Presley's That's Alright now sells for between $5,000 and $20,000 depending on the condition. Most Gen Z collectors aren't buying records just for profit. Owning a favorite album on vinyl, especially in a special edition, feels like a badge of honor. It shows devotion. It also connects you with others. Record store culture is making a comeback. A large majority of Gen Z vinyl fans say they prefer to shop in person rather than online. Lining up for Record Store Day or posting vinyl hauls online, in a world where so much of music is invisible, vinyl gives people a way to make it visible again. It's something you can show, touch, and care for. It's music with weight. And artists are playing into this. Many are getting creative with their releases. Some albums have multiple covers, others come with hidden messages, exclusive art, or scented packaging. This adds another layer of experience that streaming just doesn't offer. It turns music into a multi-sensory object, something to be opened, studied, and kept. Still, vinyl isn't a guaranteed investment. Most records will never become rare or valuable. Some limited pressings are overproduced, and the market is unpredictable. Some Record Store Day releases that people rush to buy now sell for the same price or less. There's always a risk that a record you buy for $40 today might be worth $10 in a year. There's other concerns too. New vinyl is expensive, and for young collectors with limited budgets, buying records can be a big commitment. And while vinyl is physical, it's also fragile. A scratch or warp can ruin both the sound and the resale value. It's not always easy to sell either. Just because someone listed a record for $1,000 doesn't mean it'll sell for $1,000. The asking price isn't the same as the market value. Some skeptics think the vinyl boom might be temporary, a product of pandemic boredom, online trends, and overhyped drops. Even industry insiders have said that growth is slowing. If every album starts getting 10 different variants, collectors might eventually burn out. As one executive from Discogs put it, collectors aren't ATMs. So will limited press vinyl be a great investment for everyone? Probably not. For some people, it might be. For others, it could just be an expensive hobby. But maybe the more interesting part of this trend isn't about profit at all. It's about what it says about how young people relate to music and to the idea of ownership. Gen Z has grown up in a world where most things, from playlists to photos to friendships, live online. And in the middle of that, they're reaching for something physical, something that lasts. A vinyl record isn't just a way to hear music. It's something that you can hold, display, revisit. A version of listening that slows you down, makes space, and stays with you. And while the resale market might fluctuate, that connection, that feeling of putting on a record and knowing it's yours, that's the kind of return that doesn't show up in price charts. Whether or not this vinyl wave keeps building, right now it's offering something real. A moment to care about music in a way that's slower, deeper, and maybe more meaningful. And in a world that often moves too fast, that kind of care says a lot about what this generation values.